I want to do a healing for self-respect. And this is a topic that I've struggled with for a long time. And of course, I've experienced it through lack of respect from others, but I'm really feeling called to that this is actually stemming from a lack of self-respect and a lack of honoring of one's true truth. I'm really feeling this in the sacral and the heart. So I'm just going to start by bringing in the light codes for this. I really feel this in the sacral. And the heart, there is an aching in my heart, in the heart. And in the sacral chakra, it feels like powerless. It feels like being controlled, the powerlessness, crying, pleading, crying. What's coming up for me is unmet needs. I'm getting like a baby crying and no one responding. Your needs deserve to be met. You deserve to have your needs met. Okay, this is about being met. You deserve to have your needs met. You deserve to have even your most vulnerable needs met. Your most raw, sincere, innocent needs met. Okay, it's coming in. I feel that starting to shift. Being met. This does come from being seen, because in order to be met, you need to be seen. But it's not enough to be seen, it is also to be met. You deserve to have your needs met. You deserve to be met where you are. It's really coming through with that word. You deserve to have your needs met. Wow, I just get like a crying child. You deserve to be understood, soothed, to have your seen, heard, still heard. Heard is coming up for me again. Heard. Okay, this makes sense for why I was triggered. Heard. You deserve to be heard. You deserve to be heard. Okay, so this might have significance from before a child can speak. Because before you can speak, it is up to the parent to be able to understand you even without language. And so there is a degree of empathy and intuition required on a parent's part to even understand their child. And this time period can have a different sort of trauma. And so there's a degree of just emotional intelligence required by a parent to recognize the needs and expression and wants of their child without judgment, without shame, without rejection, without dismissiveness or ignorance or oblivion, being oblivious, but to just see and recognize the needs of their child. Codes coming in for this. if you did not receive this as a child, the codes are coming in for it now. And I think this has significance in adult relationships because there's something that people talk about, like, don't expect your partner to be psychic, and I'm not a mind reader, and there's a lot of judgment towards people that have this expectation on their partners in adulthood. And I want to heal the part in a person that does not feel a right to this. Because even if your partner, doesn't intuitively read you, you should still be able to intuitively read you, the way your parents should have been able to intuitively read you. And to be honest, I do think this is actually a healthy in a partnership, and I don't agree with those teachings. That you should just have to recite everything like a machine to your partner. I really don't believe that. But in terms of just self-healing, I want to look at the part of you that doesn't feel like it has a right. So we're going to make space within you to hear your own needs, recognize and meet your own needs, those needs that you can't always find words for, those needs that were probably before 2 years old, or I guess these needs continue well after 2 years old. But if they weren't met by that time, and your parents weren't aware that these are needs that every human being has, because I know we come from a very dismissive generation, at least in America. The previous generation was like, we have no needs, So I want to restore that within you if you are an adult child from this environment. Your ability to recognize and meet. See, it's really coming up with that word, and meet your own needs, and to have your needs met by another. You have a right to have your needs met by another, and to meet your own needs. Another complication to this would be if someone learned how to forfeit their needs because parents took offense to this or wanted the child to meet the parents' needs. Forcing the child to be at odds with meeting their own needs and another. We did sort of a prenatal healing on this, but this is a bit older. This is where the child would now have some interactive capacity, even if that was just crying. So I want crying. There's something about crying here. This will be for anyone who cried as a baby and was not met in an appropriate manner. But this could have much further... and also the difference between crying soothed to have your needs met versus soothed to make you stop crying. Those are very different intentions for a parent to approach a child with. So I want to restore that. I'm really feeling this in the sacral. I'm getting curiosity. So if your parents did not express curiosity towards what was bothering you, what your needs were, they were just quick to get you to stop crying or shut up or something. I want to heal that part of you that should have experienced curiosity and interest. Wow, I feel that in the sacral. So parents that are disengaged, just kind of going along, trying to, very task oriented as well. They could have met your needs, but not really been in touch with the more invisible needs. So curiosity is coming up, being curious about who you are and what you need. Interest. This requires a person to be able to stop operating on their autopilot and stop and pay attention to you. And I know a lot of parents don't do that. So, or it only takes, regardless of how it happened, I want to address that experience and bring in the light and love. Oh, I feel so much frustration. This could be with a child trying to convey what is bothering them in a million different ways in order to be heard by their parents. Trying to be understood, trying to have needs met. So this is going to definitely have, healing capacity for those codependents who are like, if I just do it differently, if I just try harder, then my needs will be met. I really want to create space for those needs to be met without trying so hard. Or really without trying at all. You have a natural ability to meet your own needs, and healthy parents have a natural ability to meet your needs. So I want to restore that through optimum functioning, as though that were always the environment. It feels better. I'm feeling better. It feels better. You are worthy. You have a right. It's coming up as a right. You have a right to exist. You have a right to meet your own needs, to have your needs met. Okay, now we're looking a little bit at abusive patterns where the child may have been attacked for trying to get their needs met. Shamed, criticized, attacked for trying to meet their own needs. We're going to breathe into the sacral here. This could happen for a number of reasons. The parent may feel they have no right to those needs, and so when a child demands them, the parent rejects it just like they reject their own, or the parent could feel threatened by their own inability to meet those needs and kind of blame the child for having them. It's kind of a gaslighting effect here, so I'm feeling that in the sacral still. Wow, it's so uncomfortable, but it's bringing it up. So anytime you were blamed, shamed, attacked, or gaslit for having those needs in the first place because of a parent who was unable to meet them, feeling that shift out, and any sense of shame or embarrassment, or if the parents, I'm getting the word disgust. Maybe the parent was disgusted at the child for not being more independent. I'm not really sure, but I'm feeling a disgust that needs to move out. Then this probably plays into the idea of neediness and why people say like, oh, they're so needy with disgust because of that rejection of core needs. It's definitely in my sacral. Still, I still feel that, like, it feels like there's a lump, a block in there, and it's just moving around. I must need to get closer to the issue. It's shame, grief, bringing light for the grief of needs unmet. Grief. It's like you're losing a part of yourself to forfeit those needs. It really feels this way. It's like grieving your authenticity, grieving yourself, grieving your vulnerability. and which is a very loving, it's a very self-loving aspect. And so there's the grief to be separated from that part of yourself. That's why it's affecting the heart. Because that is your truth. Wow, it's very painful. There's still an element of deservingness coming through, deservingness. You're deserving. Okay, so this is the cure coming in of deservingness. Regardless of what anyone in your life was able to do or not do, you are still deserving. I really feel that coming in. It feels very good in the sacral. It's actually in the solar. I feel it in the solar plexus, actually. Letting the light codes come through. More so, anything else? Worth. Okay, now we're entering into worthiness, and I definitely feel that in the sacral. So it's like there's an element of connection to love, because it's very loving to meet the needs of another, and you are worth that. I understand this. I'm having a hard time articulating it. It's like you're worth having a relationship to, and we predominantly have intimate relationships through the meeting of needs. And so when someone opts out of that, the trauma is, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of that human experience, and so, because it should be satisfying, so if someone doesn't want to participate, from an innocent standpoint, we think, oh, I might not be good enough, I must not be worth your time, not realizing that that person isn't able to do that with anyone, not just you. And if you see like adults struggling in your life to try to do this with others and they're not doing it with you, their child, I could see how that would have an increased effect of unworthiness. Well, like, if you're trying with them, why not try with me? But what that child doesn't realize is that parent is also being run by that same unworthiness program from when they were a child. So bringing in source light to shift this out, so we can start fresh from a place of deservingness and worthiness, of true, healthy, loving, reciprocal relationships that are satisfying and meet our most intimate needs, our most precious needs, vulnerable needs, need for love, need for connection, for touch, for affection, So I'm getting a very specific scenario regarding emotionally unavailable parents, where a child's need for affection is affected by the parent's closed-off nature and will likely snap or push the child away when they are affectionate. And the child will take this personally, so I want to bring in light here. I really feel that sadness, sorrow. Yeah, I'm definitely looking at this, so I'm seeing it. I'm still seeing the parent like push away or even hit the child. For just reaching out in affection and for affection. Yeah, so to reach for affection and be met with hostility or rejection or indifference. coming up as rejection. I'm feeling anger now. So maybe also being met with anger. Wow, it's so painful. I'm waiting for it to shift out completely from the sacral. This could also have parents who are angry at having to meet the needs of their child. For instance, parents who are left by their partners or have a child they didn't plan on having can unconsciously take out anger on that child that they have to take care of them. And so, again, this video is for those children who've grown up and are carrying that pain from those experiences or suppressed anything. Needs from that experience or internalization of that experience. Let's say that. So I do want to bring in an element of so instead of internalizing that, externalize it. Let it remain external and bring in the capacity to not take it personally. To know that you are still worthy no matter what you experience, no matter who turns you away, no matter what the external world, suggests, you are still worthy internally. And to know that, I want you to know that on a deeper level, the deepest level that we can achieve right now. I want you to know that, feel that. What's coming through for me is joy. And I want you to know that you are worthy. Worthy. No matter what the external world suggests or reflects, you are worthy, and know that internally. I would like to invite in the 8-dimensional beings that wanted to work with me to help me with this, fully shifting this out. And to bring in their wisdom and their consciousness. To replace that wounded consciousness. Of the neglected, abandoned, or abused child. It's really coming through as abuse here. And people always think that abuse has to be like, knock down, scream out fights. And that's not all that abuse is. Really, to regularly cause harm to someone is abuse. And I would say unintentionally as well. To have a dependent child and turn them away and make them wrong is abuse. I don't see how it's not. Neglect is as well. Well, Well, let's just feel that in our bodies because it helps restore a sense of what is right. It's helping to restore a sense of what is right here. It's kind of to get rid of the normalization of neglect and abuse. It's just that's how parents parent. Like, that's just the way that it is. Like, I really want to move that out and hold a much higher standard of well-being for the internal landscape here, which would also, create that for your children when you have children. So that is my purpose here, to overturn these toxic systems that normalize a lack of well-being in our people and our children who grow up to be our leaders and our mothers and our fathers. So I want to create a higher standard of well-being, and especially on that inside, the way that we treat each other and our loved ones and our children, on the inside, and ourselves. It starts with ourselves. That's, as you know, because this channel is probably going to be mostly for healers. It starts on the inside if you have grown up with abuse. It's shifting. It's better. I feel that consciousness is coming through now. I'm getting honor your sensitivity. Honor your sensitivity. Honor your sensitivity. Your sensitivity is an expression of love. And you can trust that. You can honor, let's say honor that. Honor that. Honor that. Honor that. Know how to honor that. It's okay to know how to honor that. We're bringing the awareness of how to honor that. To know how to honor that. Know how to honor that. So this is bringing me back to why I started the video, which was self-respect. So this is the anecdote that they're giving here. Know how to honor yourself, your sensitivity. This is how to heal the self-respect. That's how you respect yourself, is to honor your sensitivity. I would like to do a quick cord cutting to any systems that would prevent you from being able to follow through with this. Because as I understand the advice that is coming through here, the direction, the guidance that is coming through here, I feel in myself a resistance that I think stems from attachment and association with systems that do not allow this. So I want to cut any cords to these types of systems that are built on the lack of honoring of sensitivity. Good job, good job. Good, good, good. And bring forth that awareness that any system that does not honor that sensitivity could pull you off your path. If you hook into it, of course. I'm not saying you can't be in those systems, but if you attach to those systems, be aware. Okay, we're reattaching to your own innate system, which is how you understand this through sensitivity. Okay. Interesting. Well, I'm going to stop the video there.